What's good, big dog? It's your boy Dre, and this is Shogun Army's No Decaf podcast. We're waking y'all up with an early Monday morning, 26.9. We're going to get into the show today, y'all. Yes, sir. We're going to get into the show. Today's topic is pressure is needed in your program. Pressure is needed in your program. What's good, everybody? We back home at the home station. Feels good to be back. We live this morning, and we're talking about applying pressure in your program the appropriate way and the appropriate amounts. Nobody can tell you what your dogs can handle but you and your dogs. So with this conversation, keep in mind that I'm speaking from the perspective of a kennel owner, a breeder, and trainer of my own dogs, and you have to chew the meat up and spit out the bones for this conversation. Our early morning wake up warriors are Walnut, PA, brother Tony, and Herders and Bulldogs. Salute to all y'all brothers. Make sure y'all share this out. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe, and share. And we're gonna get into this conversation. Before we can do anything with this conversation, though, there are some dogs that I want to give credence to and kudos to and give their credit because they have earned it. The first of which is Pitwise Kennels, Lady London. She won our Puppy of the Week contest in the beginning of April. Shouts out to her. If you're interested in these contests, you know what to do. Hit us up, follow us, like, subscribe, and share. And you can get you involved in that WhatsApp so you too can compete. We vote live on Saturday mornings at my schedule for our digital dog show. And your dog could be just like Lady London and be featured as our dog of the week or dog of the month respective. Also, dog of the month is Garner's Broly. Garner's Broly took it over 18 other males and females of the adult class. Same thing. They have their own WhatsApp for the adult dogs to compete in. If you're interested, we do it on WhatsApp. And I'm going to be opening it up to Facebook. I'm going to be opening up a Facebook group as well to compete because now that we're not doing the video contest as much, I think you should be able to enter through via Facebook. Instagram, maybe, but I don't want to be having to jump back around through a whole bunch of things. So I'll be creating a group. If as long as I can create a group, I can do it on as many social media platforms as possible. But just make sure that on those social media platforms that it's the group. Don't send me no individuals. If you send me an individual, I'm just going to like it and keep it moving. It needs to be in the group chat so everybody knows that you entered the dog in time. Ain't no fugaziness, none of that stuff. If you can't understand that, then you just won't compete. But yeah, so as I learn how to utilize the social media to its maximum effect, we will be creating groups on there as well. The groups will be locked. So if you want to join that group, you will have to request access. I don't want to have bots and people in there just trying to cause discord. We've seen it enough times that we just don't want to do that. Okay. But shouts out to Lady London and Garner's Broly for their phenomenal contributions to the digital dog show and to the Pitbull community as a whole. Coming up in May, on May 23rd, 2026, the Howard Heinzel Memorial Trapper Days Dog Show in Taylor, Arizona, being judged by Mr. Brandon Phillips, the owner of Grit and Steel Dog Collars. I'm certain that he'll have some deals going on out there. Make sure you show up, pull up, ready to compete and ready to learn and grow together, putting these dogs out there and showing them to the world in a way that the world may have never seen them before. Each dog show is the opportunity for members and participants to show their dogs exactly how they supposed to look, be cared for, and in the best shape of their lives. The events that you can have for performance owners is the wall climb, the mill race, and the lure course after the show. This ties into today's topic, which is pressure is needed in your program. Pressure is needed in your program. On May 30th, 2026, in Aledo, Texas, the Lone Star State Pitbull Club will also be hosting a fun show with Best Kid Handler, Best Puppy, best in show, best female and male, best black dog, and best buckskin. There's a small gate fee of $10. The events are $20 and crates are required. All right. That's in Alito, Texas. On June 20th, the Pit Pool indoor weight pool is in Peoria, Arizona at 8525 Grand Avenue, Peoria, Arizona, 85345. The events start and weigh-ins start at 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. Make sure you're there punctually, because for the weight pools, you do want to get the dog weighed in so they can get the proper scores for your dog. There's a matrix for it, but it's based on the dog's weight and the amount of weight pulled. So you want to make sure your dogs are there for the weigh-in. Don't be holding the show up. The show start time is 10 a.m. It costs $10 to enter, and the awards are ribbons. The chief judge will be DJ Jones. DJ Jones. Shout out to DJ, man. Salute. Contact information is on the screen. If you're interested in that, holla at your boy. Salute. Also in the building, we have oh no, the same people. Okay, cool. Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate it. Now, with all that being said, the topic of the day is pressure is needed in your program. Today, I want to talk about something a lot of people they don't want to hear, but it needs to be said nonetheless. None of my topics are meant to be comfortable topics. They're meant to be whatever you need them to be, to keep you motivated, to keep you inspired, and keep you disciplined. My quote of the day: your dog will never rise above the level of pressure you're willing to apply. Your dog will never rise above the level of pressure that you are willing to apply. And I'm not talking about abuse. I'm not talking about breaking a dog down. That's not what we're talking about, yo. And we're going to cover that as well. This is something that's done incrementally. You wouldn't go out and run a marathon if you haven't been running your whole life, right? And you wouldn't expect your dog to be able to handle any pressure just right off the gate. I do always caveat things with a different perspective. There are inexperienced owners that have good dogs that can pretty much handle anything they throw at them, because the dog is just built like that. That's genetics, and that's winning the genetic lottery. But in general, generally speaking, this is an incremental thing. What we're talking about is building a dog that can function well as life starts to get real for that dog. It's easy to have a good dog in your living room, right? Or on Instagram with pictures and Facebook and all that good stuff. It's relatively easy to have a good looking dog. Genetics typically will cover up a lot of the flaws in the dog's looks and appearance. Even on a leash at the park, the dog can look good and pull good and do all these things, man. But what happens when there's some kind of resistance applied? What happens when the dog hits a level of insecurity that it's not used to dealing with? What happens when somebody says it's an ugly dog and they know that that's just for attention? These are all things that the dog has to be able to handle the pressure. And so do you. You have to be able to handle your pressure as well. This is where you find out what you actually have built: the bond, the dog's mental stability, and all of that together, man. Now let's define this clearly, because once again, this is not to propagate or promote animal abuse. This is to enlighten people. Lynx Dogos, what's good, big dog? Pressure equals controlled stress that forces adaptation. Pressure equals controlled stress that forces adaptation. The example I would like to give of that is, I always talk about weightlifting, man. I enjoy lifting weights, and as an example, as you increase your threshold, the amount of weight you can carry, you begin to see changes in the body, the neurological response and the physical response to that weight. The body tends to grow as the muscle fibers break down and repair themselves. They grow back bigger and stronger. It is a you reap what you sow type of environment. And that's the way I want to look at pressure today from my perspective. Is pressure is just another weight being added to the dog's life. Added appropriately, it's just going to make your dog a stronger dog, a more mentally stable dog, and a more physically fit animal. This all applies to everybody. Most of my topics will not just apply to the dog, they will apply to the humans that raise the dogs. They'll apply to athletes, soldiers, and other animals that you may have. If your dog has never been challenged, that means that a dog has not learned problem solving, it hasn't learned resilience, and it hasn't learned how to push through discomfort. So when the pressure finally shows up in real life, the dogs like that tend to fold. They tend to break under the pressure, and you tend to cause long-term emotional and mental scarring of that animal. Our goal is to build better people through building better animals, and build better animals to building better people. Can't do that without some kind of pressure. The problem with dogs today is soft dog culture. We're in an era where people want gentle parenting for their dogs, zero correction, and zero stress. One of the greatest examples of this is force-free dog training. Force-free dog training works with a specific personality type or just type of dog in general. Some dogs are really predisposed to just wanting very, very light lives and easy lives. And there's nothing wrong with those dogs at all. Some of them are naturally predisposed and can handle pressure from birth just because their phenotype, genotype, and their overall genetic background. And if you have a dog like that, then this episode still can apply to you because you can always make that dog better and improve that dog. But what do you truly end up with these zero correction and zero stress dogs? You end up with dogs that panic under pressure. They can shut down easily or explode because they've never been challenged before. You didn't raise a stable dog. In this situation, you would have raised a fragile dog. My greatest fear for a fragile dog is a dog that tends to react. And the worst reaction that I think you can get from a dog is for it to be unduly human aggressive or cause serious, severe injury to human beings simply due to the fact that the dog was reactive to a stimuli in the environment. In order to fix this problem, it's easier to never let it begin. And how do dogs adapt to pressure? Dogs adapt through exposure and recovery. Exposure and recovery. Once again, we're going to talk about the muscle building process. You apply stress to the body. You let that stress break down the muscle and let the animal or yourself process what just occurred. After a specified amount of time, that may be a day, maybe a week, depending on how stressful it was, it may be a couple weeks, the dog comes back stronger. But here's where people tend to mess this up. They either apply no pressure at all or apply too much pressure too fast. Both of these things can create weak outcomes. Too much pressure creates a willingness to quit or creates a dog that is averse to trying new things because they lack the confidence. You've broken the dog. Not enough pressure creates a dog that sees no reason to push into the resistance, whether that be pulling weights, climbing a wall, doing basic training, hunting a hog, or any other activity that requires the dog to be mentally engaged. The dog can just check out. It's like, I don't have to do this. This is not for me. Park and finish was good, big dog. The best example I can give you that could put a dog's life in jeopardy, but also shows a grand amount of resilience, is the wild boar example. This is a conceptual example because I do not personally hunt wild boar, I have a lot of friends to do, and I'm using anecdotal and secondhand evidence for this information. But let's address this example. You want a dog that can handle a wild boar. This is serious work, and it's not just a backyard test. I see catch pens all the time. The dog is doing well on that pig in a pen. That pig is scared. That pig is cornered. That pig is already bayed. That pig is typically raised domestically. So the level of survival that a wild boar might naturally have from surviving natural predators may not be there, which means that the pig in the pen may not put up the same intensity level as a wild boar. It's just a simple example. These catch pens are a simple test to see if the dog will at least engage the prey, right? Engage the prey, take hold, and stay there. A real wild boar is fast, aggressive, armed with tusks, and capable of unaliving your animal. Let's just be real. Like typically in a catch pen, the chances of you losing a dog are quite low. But to caveat the episode, it's still a level of pressure. The hog in the pen can thrash around. It can do several things. It could throw the dog off its A game, and it could show you some of the things you need to see in your animal. However, overarchingly speaking, we want to make sure that the dog is getting built up so that eventually it can handle going through the bush, being exhausted, and still doing what it needs to do in the wild. How do you build a dog that doesn't panic under that level of pressure? You do not start with a board. You build layers. Stage one in any activity I get into, so this is stage one. Always expose the dog to new environments. If I want the dog to do work indoors and outdoors, I'm going to show the dog inside the house, inside stores, patios, grassy areas, covered areas, and some more. Just different environments that the dog can go out and get used to the feel of tile floors underneath his feet, grass, dirt, rocks, hot surface, or not hot enough to burn the dog, but warmer surfaces, cooler surfaces, snow. I want the dog to experience a menagerie of different environments, so the dog never worries about its footing or its placement in an environment where it's just unfamiliar. That's going to create uncertainty and could cause the dog to have less than optimum training experience. Train in uneven terrain. I also bring out loud noises. I've told you before, I'll take 2x4s and smack them together. Those 2x4s being smacked together simulate, gunfire or just loud noises in general. Desensitizing the dog to those extreme situations where noise pollution is a threat. And then unpredictable movements. Teaching the dog how to adapt to changing environments and movements is extremely important to me as well. The goal is that the dog learns I do not shut down when things get weird. The dog will stay engaged. The dog will continue to work through whatever it is you want the dog to work through. It is an extremely balanced animal that is very confident in any environment. And that's the goal for stage one. For stage two, you want to bring in the opposition, and you want to teach the dog how to intensify based upon the level of opposition. I start off by using tug work, spring pole, flirt pole, things of that nature, tug of war. These are things that I can kind of help control with the dog. They're fun for the dog to engage. It's prey drive. They allow the dog to give chase. They're super rewarding. When the dog catches the item, the dog enjoys it, right? That it goes from that to control resistance, maybe doing this when the dog is tired or having loud noises going on in the background, maybe having to go through a swimming pool full of water bottles, whatever it is that creates some more resistance to the tug work or whatever kind of work it is I'm trying to do. Maybe a carpet mill as opposed to a slap mill, but just giving the dog a well-rounded experience with some resistance. And then you want to teach the dog to lean into that resistance and apply more pressure to turn off the fear or anxiety. A lot of times you'll see me do this when my bite work. Once again, I have the sleeve on. The dog is biting on the sleeve. I take my hand, put it on the back of the dog's head, and push it into the sleeve. When the dog grips harder or bites down harder on my sleeve, I relieve the pressure by removing my hand from the back of the dog's head. And the dog realized that, hey, when there's pressure applied, if I just bite a little harder, if I just go a little bit harder, eventually that pressure will turn off. This teaches the dog that it can control the environment with his bite, but also with his bark. When a dog can't reach his target, I'll do what's called a walk-in, where the dog is barking at me, or the decoy. Every time the dog barks, the decoy or the toy gets closer. I bring the toy closer to the dog. The dog realizes that, hey, I can stimulate engagement by barking out loud and calling out the engagement for the whatever prey it is or whatever item it is that I'm trying to draw into me. The goal is the dog learns engagement and not to retreat. In stage 3, the dog has now learned confidence and has a foundation and understands the situation, the controlled resistance, controlled opposition. Now you want to add in environmental stress. Can the dog work in 95 degrees? Can the dog work in 38 degrees? Can the dog work when it's exhausted? And can I bring other distractions in there, lower level distractions, to see if the dog stays focused on the target at hand? If it's a hog dog, I don't want it attacking the other dogs. I want it to get the hog. If it is a personal protection dog, I don't want noises and things in the background distracting the dog from attacking the attack aggressor or the person that's attacking me. The goal for environmental stress is that the dog learns to perform under great discomfort. This is progressive, though. I wouldn't come in with a blank gun the first time and shoot a blank gun. I might come in, like I said, with the boards, clapping them together. Sometimes it's as simple as, like I told you with puppies, I have a treadmill running in the background just so the puppies get accustomed to acclimatize to the noise. Eventually, I let them touch the treadmill. Then I let them touch it while it's running. And then eventually, the treadmill is just another item in the room, like any other item. It doesn't create great discomfort for them anymore, and they're able to work it appropriately. Stage 4, the scent and the tracking work. Allow your dog to follow trails. See where the trail leads the dog. You know, if you got a 20 or 30 foot lead and you got an area that's safe for you to do that with your dog, go out and see what the dog puts his nose to the ground, see what it finds for you. The first possum that we took out, that we unalived, with Saki, we were just doing our nightly walk, and he caught the trail, and we caught the possum on a fence line, and he was able to hawk the possum down and put in work. So I got to see not only his ability to dispatch a small game, but also got to see his ability to track and find small game to dispatch. Clipped him behind enemy lines. Was good, big dog. So it was a great opportunity just walking my dog. I was able to see things that I wouldn't have seen by just taking him out there and showing him a new environment, let him do his thing, let him work. The goal of stage 4 is to build a mental endurance and not just a physical endurance. Scent work requires the dog to use all 2 billion scent receptors, and those scent receptors are quite mentally taxing on a dog. I tell you this all the time. If you ever want to see a dog tired, if you can't get him physically tired, give him mental work. Let him do some nose work and watch how much more calm that dog is when you get him home. The 5th stage, and one of the most cautionary stages, is controlled animal exposure. This needs to be safe and legal work only. Safe and legal work only. I do not encourage anything illegal. So this is talking about strictly what is lawful in your state and in your county. All right. You don't throw a dog into danger. You don't just throw him out in the woods and say, go catch a hog. That would be irresponsible. You need to use controlled environments. Maybe go out with some experienced handlers that have seen the situation before. They can help you out. Maybe you're right on the side-by-side. You got some bay dogs, some sight hounds, things of that nature, some scent hounds. And they kind of get the pig in a situation that's very similar to the catch pen, back it into a ravine, or, you know, just an area where the dog can go in and engage the same way you train them in the catch pen. And you want to have protective measures as well, like buy the proper equipment for your dogs. I know a lot of people like to say they don't get cut gear for their dogs until after their first hunt. Hey, to each his own. Cut gear is not a requirement. I think it should be if you're going to do this, because these dogs are going to be exposed to razor sharp tusks and other environmental factors that could cause a dog to have injury. So I highly encourage you, if you're going to do this, do it the right way. Your dogs deserve the best you can give them. If you expect them to give you the best they can give you. The goal of stage 5 is not, can my dog survive chaos? The goal is, can my dog stay composed under intensity and pressure? And you'll never know that if you do not have pressure in your program. Okay, so we talked about the stages. Let's talk about what you don't want to do. Let's get to what you don't want to do first. And let's kill some bad ideas immediately. Because I'm talking about the hog hunting thing, and everybody gets excited about it. Everybody wants to be so hard, and everybody's hard until they're not. Same thing with the dog. Every dog handles pressure until it can't. All right. Throwing your dog into a dangerous situation to see what happens. Sink or swim method. It's not a great idea. All right. It's not a great idea. Letting your dog get injured for the sake of toughness. Also not a good idea. Dogs can get infections. Without having proper vet care, you do put yourself in legal danger. And also you could just lose a good dog. You know what I'm saying? You could lose a good dog for pride and ego. And then don't confuse fear with drive. Just because the dog is barking or whining, it doesn't mean it wants action. Sometimes that means it wants away from the action, and that's the last stage. Is the faux or the fake macho. Things that'll let you know he really wants action. Tail is wagging. He's actually leaning forward into whatever it is he's trying to get into. There are dogs that will bark and back up. If you've never seen it before, think about the last time you were around a Chihuahua or a small dog. It probably barked at you, and if you stomped your foot, it jumped back. It backed away. Most of them. Some of them are actually going to come forward. They actually want the smoke, but most of them are barking as a display of fake aggression. It's a fear aggression. It's not actual drive. A scared dog is not a strong dog, and a reckless hander will break that dog very easily. So those are some don't do things, right? Things that you should not be doing if you're going to get into any of these activities. It's not just the hog hunting, but I would say hog hunting is probably the most stressful one that you're going to put your dog under lawfully at this time in age. Right behind that is protection work. A good decoy can run a dog off, or can run a dog or ruin a dog for you as well. Or not a good decoy, but a decoy in general can. A good decoy is going to help you identify your dog's working threshold. Let me clarify that. But what this pressure will do, good pressure, reveals weak nerves, lack of confidence, and poor training. All of these things can be worked on and adapted. But knowing where your baseline is with your dogs is very important as well. Maybe you're a good handler, a good trainer, but the dogs aren't that great, right? So you're able to cover up some of these things when you work your dogs. But when they go to other camps, are they going to be able to handle the same levels of pressure with that other camp, with different ideologies, different practices, different ways of life, right? So as you're building better dogs, you want to make sure that you're building an all-around dog that is not just built just for you. Your dogs specifically on your yard should be built for you, but it also comes with training and conditioning to your lifestyle, right? But just the general health of the dog is the most important thing in the situation. Healthy levels of pressure in these situations will also build focus, discipline, and impulse control. Your dog is going to learn, I've been here before and I know what to do. Old school term, the schooling process, that's what the schooling process did for the dogs. Most people need to hear this next point, though. And this is the point I want to drive home with today's topic before I go any further. Most people don't need a dog that can handle a wild boar. Most people don't need a dog that will bite a human on command. Most people don't even need a dog that can win a slap mill race because their activity level doesn't align with that dog's needs. What they actually need is a dog that listens, a dog that doesn't panic in the situations that they put their dog into, and a dog that can handle real world situations effectively. But the principle is the same. If you avoid pressure, you're going to build weakness. And that's in your life or your dog's life. And that's what this is all about. The Shogun Army Neo Dogman, it's about the lessons we learn from caring for animals, the consistency, the drives, all these things we talk about in animals, they matter in your life as well. If there's no pressure in your life, go get some pressure. If you feel like you're not accomplishing enough, find you a hobby, dedicate 15 minutes a day to learning that hobby. Over the course of a week, over the course of 5 days, that is 75 minutes, an hour and 15 minutes that you've dedicated to that, right? And that's if you just do Monday through Friday. You'll get up to 105 minutes in a week, and it's just exponential. And then by the time you get a month's downtime in there, you've learned enough to be an entry level novice. Now you need to get involved in that. So that same 15 minutes you apply to learning it, now you need to apply it to getting the experience. And those increments like that, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you can afford to give, 5 minutes, as you give that time to your animals, to yourself, that applies pressure. And it's gradual, it's incremental, but like the increments they're gonna add up. And like I said, over the course of a month, you'll have hundreds of minutes and and a couple hundred hours, to get get it done just by giving up minutes a day. Right now, my goal is 15 minutes a day. If I do nothing else, even if I don't feel like doing nothing else, 15 minutes a day of either walking or push-ups or sit-ups or dips or something, just something for 15 minutes a day. And believe it or not, I actually feel like I'm in just as good a shape as when I was lifting weights for 2 and 3 hours, because it's more consistent. I don't take as much time off. I don't take as much time to recover, but those little recoveries are important. Like I told you on last episode, recovery to me is more important than the actual workout. So with that being said, man, I want to give you all these closing thoughts on my actual notes. Today's takeaway, if nothing else, should be pressure is not punishment. Punishment has its own place, and punishment is not meant to be necessarily resilient. It can build resilience, but punishment is meant to correct a negative behavior. Pressure is meant to reinforce the dog's ability to push through the negatives that come with a behavior. Pressure is preparation, and if you love your dog, you will need that pressure to challenge it, to help develop it, and to expose it to controlled stress. Because one day, life won't be controlled. And when that moment comes, your dog will either rise to its level of training or it will collapse under pressure. There is no in between. So Shogun Army, no decaf. Remember this. Anybody can raise a dog in comfort, but not everyone can build one for reality. Anyone can start, but not everyone can stay. This has been Shogun Bros, no decaf, coffee talk in the morning. Now, y'all, that being said, I am going to put the link in here real quick. I do this. I'm making my mission at about the 30-minute mark to open it up for anybody who wants to come in. If you want to, it is your prerogative. You don't have to. Obviously, I've gotten my rocks off this morning. I've said what I need to say. My brain is awake. It is stimulated. I still got things to do before I get ready for work. It's nice to get back in there and give me a nap after this show. So I give it 2 or 3 minutes for y'all to, if you want to come in, you can. It's more than fine. But if not, I'm not going to sit here and hold you. I will tell anybody this, man. I'm not going to be on social media for hours, 4 or 5 hours just for watch time. That's when you start to hear lies come out and you start backtracking just because you're just tired of talking about the subject. Right now I'm fresh. I got my rocks off this morning. But I will talk about in the meantime while I wait and see if anybody wants to come on here. I'll give it a few minutes. I'll say this. My dogs right now are getting in shape for the Howard Heinzel Memorial show, right? This show right here, the Trapper Days show. This year, for those of y'all who are interested and want to know what I'm competing in, I want to go for best condition and best buckskin, judge's choice. And those are the classes I'm going to be in. So like, if you want to go head to head with Dre, I'm applying pressure to myself. I'm applying pressure to my dogs to be as healthy as we possibly can be together when we walk into that show ring. But best condition, best buckskin, and judge's choice. Those are the classes that I want my dogs in when I go to this dog show. That's where I want my dogs to be physically. That's where I want my dogs to be mentally for those. And none of those require anything other than the dog to be healthy and cared for, right? This is the dichotomy I was talking about earlier. Best condition is going to require work. Don't get it twisted, but that work is just get a dog to look good. Now, where I really want to say I'm applying pressure this year is the wall climb, the mill race, and the lure courses after the show. These are performance driven, not because the dog has to go through any real mental stress. They're all pretty fun for the dog, right? The dog enjoys doing them naturally. However, train them in the heat, train them in the cold, make sure their paws are properly cared for, make sure their pads are good and cared for, so they can handle the pressures of just working out consistently. That's important to me. Giving them their shots and make sure their body can handle the pressure of parasites trying to get into their bodies. Make sure they're properly vaccinated and wormed out. The pressures of just life in the desert. Those are things that I want my dogs exposed to prior to going to this show, because Taylor, Arizona is usually about 15 to 20 degrees cooler than it is here in Tucson. And in May in Tucson, we're probably cresting 105, 110. So when I go out there, it's 70, 75, 80 degrees maybe. And if my dogs are conditioned to super, super exaggerated temperatures, that helps them to perform at a high level. I want to say that none of these things, no topic I talk about with you do I not apply to myself. And I'm working really, really hard to get better. There is a brother that I found on Facebook as well. I would like for y'all to go check him out if you get the opportunity. He reminds me I see a lot of positive things in this brother. I'm ecstatic. I'm exceedingly abundantly grateful that I ran across his page. I gotta find his name, man, because he was dealing with some hecklers, but definitely want to share this with y'all, because he does training too, and I think he does it at a high level. And if any of y'all are interested, he has a good program that I like. I've been sharing it on the Facebook page. If you follow my Facebook page, you've seen the brother already, but let me scroll down here and see if I can find it for you. Okay, it's Franco of Full Metal. And he has Franco's Black Cashiers doing bite work on my page. It's a great example of another kennel doing the work, man. I appreciate him for sharing that, man. Shout out to Full Metal Kennel. I don't know if it's Full Metal Jacket. Let me see. I don't know if it's Full Metal Jacket or Full Metal Kennel. Let me get that right. Full Metal, Franco Full Metal. Everything that I do, I see him doing that and then some, man. Just great work, man. I want to give him a shout out. If any of y'all know him personally, man, let him know I'm reaching out. I definitely want to collaborate. I 100% want to collaborate. That's Franco of Full Metal. And yeah, man. Well, y'all, that's going to do it for today. Y'all know how I like to end the show. So I'm going to get on here. I'm going to end this show. I'm going to go inside. I'm going to get me some more sleep. Give me another 30-minute nap before I got to get up and roll to work. And I just want to say, man, I appreciate all y'all, man. Thank y'all for what y'all do for the dog community. Shogun Army or nothing. Shogun Army or nothing. Here we go. May the Lord watch between you and me while we are absent one from another. Amen. For the love of the dogs, for the love of the game, peace.
Yeah, they wasn't with me when it wasn't no shine. Now they pop up like, bro, we aligned. Lie on my name, let the rumors ride. That ain't my people, that ain't my kind. Samurai Cannon, we built off cold. You They was cool when the door stayed open. Soon as it closed, they started joking. Smiling at pics, talking behind back. Same one triching off the contacts. Use my name for their little clout runs. Then play dumb when the truth come. Spread fake stories, half-ass facts. Now it's quiet when I double back. I don't argue, I let time talk. Same dudes broke while I still walk. Same lane, same code, no disguise. You showed your hand, I read them lies.
Wasn't with me when it wasn't no shine. Now they pop up like, bro, we